You're 32 years old. You are living the American dream. You have a beautiful house. You have 3 beautiful little boys. You have a beautiful wife. You have a good job. You have a great stepdaughter that loves you and appreciates you. And life is what everybody would want. And one day you decide you take your 3 kids, 3, 4, and 7, and you line them up and you shoot each one execution style. I'd like to say that this is not a real story I'm talking about, but I am talking about Chad Doerman in Monroe County in Ohio and his family annihilation. So without further ado, let's get spooky. My name is Detroit Allycat, and I cover true crime, paranormal, anything weird, anything abnormal. I have always covered family annihilators because I feel like it's something we need to talk about. And I have noticed a trend in Ohio that no one is talking about. So somewhere around 2023, I started to notice all of these crazy cases in Ohio. And I thought this cannot be a coincidence. And I looked it up. I did the statistics. Ohio is in the top 4 of family annihilation cases in the United States, which is very impressive considering that Ohio is not one of the biggest states. It's a pretty decent sized state, but Texas is number 1, and that is probably Ohio is probably 1/4 the size of Texas. I could be wrong, but the fact that all these cases are in Ohio, that's just something we should talk about. But we're not going to talk about that too much. We're going to talk about Chad Doerman and what happened on the day that he decided to annihilate his family. I still am very confused as to why. And I have ideas, but nothing is definitive. So I would love if you enjoyed my video, if you subscribed, leave a comment, left a like, tell me what you think cuz these videos are hard to do. They are. But this one really I want to talk about it. And it's kind of interesting because it happened on June 15th, 2023 and it's June right now and I thought, you know what, let's discuss because he actually just went to court. Um, if you would like to know, I'll just tell you he pled guilty and he got 3 life sentences without the possibility of parole. So Chad is going away for a very, very long time. Let's start from the beginning. Chad Doerman, as always, I have my pad of paper and my glasses. Chad Doerman, it was 32 years old on June 15th, 2023. That is the date that it all happened. He grew up in Claremont County, Ohio. He attended Amelia High School and he settled down in Monroe Township. Now there is sorry, a City, and it's like on the border of Ohio and Michigan. So I did look it up. Monroe Township is like the southwest side of the state. It's like down, 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 down. It's far from where we are. Chad Doerman was the son of Keith and Gloria Doerman, and he was born on March 1st, 1991. He graduated in 2009. There is no type of abuse we know about in his past. There's nothing that stood out. If he was going to have that kind of a past, I feel like his defense attorney would have brought that to light, and he did not. There's not very much I read about his brothers and sisters. I'm pretty sure he does have them. But I think they want to stay private and I can understand why. Once something like this happens, your entire life completely is destroyed. So we're not going to talk about his brothers and sisters. We're going to let them heal because they've been through a lot. And I think his parents have been through a lot too. In fact, I know they've been through a lot. In 2010, Chad marries Laura, and she becomes Laura Doerman. She does not have a big social media presence. I couldn't find out very much about her. What little I could find out is that she had a daughter from a previous marriage. There's not much about the father of that child. She is a stay at home mom. She loves her kids. She's very involved in their life. She does homeschooling, and there's some things during the incident that will tell you what type of a woman she was. A very good one, actually. And let's just keep going. In 2010, they get married, which is what I said. They have 3 sons: Clayton, 7, Hunter, 4, and Chase, 3. And let me just tell you, these kids are so cute. They're just so cute. All the pictures of them are like these big smiles, and they just look like little dumplings. They're so cute. Laura has her daughter, and she gets really attached to these kids. The daughter, Alexis, was very close with her brothers, and that there's lots of cute pictures online of that too. I looked at the criminal record of Chad Doerman because I thought, well, maybe if he had some domestic violence in his past, that would explain it. As odd as it is, the domestic violence that I found of Chad Doerman was with his father. It didn't really explain what happened, but it seems that Chad was the aggressor and the father was the victim. And the charges got dropped because the day of the court, the victim did not show up, which is the father, which he probably was advised by somebody like, "Hey, this is the way you can get your son off, just don't show up for court." So there was a domestic violence with his father. I don't really think that says anything about Chad. I think families do have fights and things happen, and there's not enough information about what happened, but that's, like, literally the only thing on his record except for traffic tickets. I don't know if you guys this is like a little sidebar, taking a break. I don't know if you guys have ever watched any of my shorts. I do rescue work with dogs, and my dog Smokey is featured on all of my shorts. My dog Smokey just came in here and rearranged my camera equipment. So it might be a little bit all over the place. I apologize. I'm actually working on having it where Smokey can be in the background. I'm getting him a raised bed. That way, if you guys are feeling stressed or feeling like what we're talking about is too much, you can watch my dog. I just, I thought that would be fun. Okay, so let's get back to the topic. Something that I found very strange about the incident is that Chad admitted he had been thinking about killing his sons for 8 months prior to the incident. And I just want to bring that up because Chad pleaded in the beginning temporary insanity or the insanity defense. And I do think that if you have psychosis, you can plan things out, but I just find it odd that you would say that you had temporary insanity, but you planned it out 8 months in advance. And also, I just really wanna know what happened that you thought about that for 8 months. Let me tell you about the day that it did happen, so you guys can help me try to figure it out together. Chad was an insulator, that was his job. Boys loved baseball and fishing. Something that I also thought was crazy was that Chad was the coach for the boys for baseball, for the Clayton baseball team, which how awkward for the team. Alexis was an outstanding student, a star softball athlete, and everything that I had read and seen, Alexis was actually very close to Chad and viewed him as her father. All right, let's talk about the 5 days leading up to the murder. June 10th was a girl day, which basically meant Alexis and her mom hung out together and the boys hung out with Chad. Nothing happened. June 11th, boys went fishing with their dad. Nothing happened. June 12th was completely normal. June 13th, they had baseball practice. The public said that they didn't see anything odd. They were acting completely fine. June 14th, they also, everything seemed completely fine. Let's talk about June 15th, which is the day that the incident took place. At 7 a.m., Chad leaves for work. On the way to work, he YouTubes a song called Happy in Hell by Colt Ford. I listened to that song and I just got to say it was not my style. I do like country. I really do, but it just wasn't. I don't know. It was weird, but it was called Happy in Hell and it does really kind of hint to how he feels about his relationship with Laura. There's a lot of like quotes like, is she going to stay or is she going to leave me? There has been a lot of speculation online that Laura was planning to divorce Chad, but there's nothing, there's no definitive proof of that. It's just speculation. Later on, he called his mother and he told her he was having confusing feelings. His mother suggests that he go get medical help. So he drives to a Kroger little clinic. You know how when you go into Kroger, they got these little tiny areas and you can go get seen for the flu. I think it's really weird that he went to a Kroger little clinic for a mental health crisis, but I guess maybe I wouldn't think to go there. Honestly, I don't think that there is enough resources for mental health, period. So I can't really tell you. I would think a crisis line would be the way to go. But he goes there. His mother suggested he go there. There's surveillance of him walking into the Kroger's. He sits down, he waits a few minutes, he gets up, he's never seen, he leaves, he grabs a 16-ounce of Bud Light and he walks out the door and he's never seen. So he goes back home early from work and he eats lunch with his family and his wife remembers him saying this is a last good meal, which she also thought was really weird. Someone, I think I read that it was his wife that they suggested the family take a nap together, but then I also read that he wanted to take a nap. They all decided to take a nap together. And I just want to talk about a couple things prior to the nap. I guess Chad was walking around with a Bible and he kept saying Chad knows what's right. Around 3:30, Chad reads the Bible to Hunter and he was just acting really weird and he kept saying Chad knows what's right, which is talking about himself in a third person. And his wife Laura says to him like you're scaring me and Chad says back to him I'm just playing around or something very similar to that. So they decide to take a nap and while they take a nap, this gets kind of heavy, just so you know. Chad gets up, goes in the gun safe, pulls out his 22 caliber rifle, and then he shoots the 4-year-old Hunter. Hunter passes away in the bedroom. At this point, Laura, his wife, gets up. She's really upset. She calls 911. Chase and Clayton start taking off running. Alexis is running with them. She picks up the little one, Chase, the youngest, and starts running down the road. Clayton goes one way. Chase goes the other with Alexis. Chase Chad chases down Clayton and shoots him in a field. And then he starts going after Alexis and Chase. He tells Alexis to put Chase down, and his rifle has no more ammunition. So he takes Chase back to the house, loads up, chases by his mother. He runs to his mother, and his mother is trying to hold him, and Chad is trying to shoot chase, and Laura fights Chad tooth and nail to save her youngest son. She's like having a physical altercation. She's wrestling him. At one point, she puts her hand over the muzzle of the rifle and he shoots clear through her hand. And then, when that didn't work and Laura lost, he shot Chase, and he took the children and he tried to line them up in his front yard. I believe the older one he couldn't carry all the way to the house, but it was by the bush, by a bush. And then the police came and they were pissed. You could hear how angry the police were that they were dealing with this. You could hear Laura in the background screaming, "You've taken my life." Chad was just so nonchalant. He was like, "I have a credit, my wallet's hurting me. Can you pull it out?" He was talking about putting the dog back in the house. Like he just killed 3 of his kids. And at the same time all of this is happening, Alexis, who was down the road, he did not shoot her. She's like running down the road and a passerby stopped her and she's like, "My dad's trying to kill everyone," and they called 911. And yeah, she was trying to be a hero, but she was really messed up from everything. And at that point, they arrested Chad, and Laura and Alexis's life would never be the same. So he was put in jail, and they said, and he pled to having insanity defense, and but they couldn't prove anything. He didn't have bipolar or schizophrenia or psychosis. So he ended up taking a plea deal guilty, and he took 3 life sentences where he would never get parole again. While Chad was in the prison or jail, Laura divorced him, so she no longer is married to him. I don't know who lives in the house. It does look like it's occupied, but I don't think Laura lives there. I think that Laura has said that she just wants to be left alone and she wants privacy so that her and her daughter can heal. I watched the victim impact statements at the trial, and Alexis actually had someone read hers, and it was like one of the most heartbreaking things ever to hear. Basically, she was like, "I can't be mad at you because you were my father, but like you stole everything from me. You stole my brothers, you stole yourself. Like my life is ruined." And it was just really sad. Like she was talking about how he would be so proud, but it doesn't matter anymore. It's just so it was really awful. So a lot of people said that they seemed like a normal family and that nothing was wrong, but there was an interview done of one of the neighbors, and this is conflicting information. The neighbor said that he always seemed mad, and he said that he was always rough handling the kids and he was always treating Laura badly. I That's what the neighbor said, but other people said that the family looked completely normal. I'm guessing somewhere halfway is the truth. I honestly read this case and looked front and back for a reason why this happened, and it makes absolutely no sense to me. The only thing I could possibly think of is that Laura was going to leave him, but there was nothing in anywhere saying that Laura was gonna leave him. The only reason I would think that that might be a possibility is because the way that he did this, it seemed like such a punishment for Laura. Like he made her watch him execute their children. And it's just like, why did he leave her alive? I don't know. I did want to read a thing I found about family annihilation. A family annihilator is a type of homicide where a family member kills multiple close relatives, most often a parent or a spouse, most often a male, occurs in the family home, most do not have significant criminal history. And almost always the motivation is either financial or a life crisis, control or revenge, which I think that this was revenge because he thought that his wife was going to leave and basically like, you can't have my children. That's what I think. So it's allegedly. It's also mental illness or delusion could be a reason. Also, a truic distortion. I didn't know what a truic was, but it feels like you have to take care of the family and you're basically protecting them by doing away with them, which I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think that this guy is a psychopath. He has to be. There's no way he could have killed those 3 kids and did that. And he did it so methodically, like it was like making a sandwich. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was senseless and horrible. Like, if you're that upset, just leave. But there's more to the story. We'll never know. In one of the interviews, he said that he wished he would have killed Laura first. And I find that interesting. Like, is he regretting making her watch, or did he wish he would have killed her? I don't know. I would love to know what you think. I just wanted to, like, talk about this because I I just think that there has to be a way to prevent these types of things from happening and watching red flags more. I don't know. I don't know, guys. Like, this one really leaves me very speechless. It's very sad. It's very senseless. I feel horrible for the mother. And yeah, I thought I should talk about it. So, if you enjoyed or found the content interesting, please leave a comment telling me what you think. I hope you have a beautiful day. I hope you appreciate your family because this case makes me just want to like hug my kids and just sit there with them for hours. Have a beautiful day. As always, stay safe, stay spooky, subscribe, and bye.